What's going on, people? I am B-Dobbins for the win, and the other day Bungie finally decided to implement microtransactions into Destiny. We all saw this coming via the Eververse trading company and a new currency, silver, which you pay real life money for, and then you spend the silver on emotes like dances and stuff like that. So there are two important points I want to make about this that I think more people need to be talking about. The first is that these emotes are absurdly overpriced. When it comes to the legendary emotes, you're paying $5 for a 5-second dance move or whatever. Now, admittedly, the enthusiastic dance, as it's called, the one based on Carlton from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, that was funny the first time I saw it. I did lol a little bit when I previewed it on my character, and I'll give him credit for making me laugh. It was the only emote on there that actually evoked some sort of emotional response or interest in me. And even then, I don't know if I'd dish out the money, because it's going to be just as funny seeing other people use that emote. And then, of course, after I've seen them do it 10 million times, after it's been on a 24/7 loop in the tower and the reef for the entirety of year 2, then it'll just be kind of dumb. In fact, I'll probably start to hate it. That's the thing about this content. You know, I don't need to buy it to benefit from it, right? I mean, everyone doing their dance moves and using comedic timing to entertain their friends or whatever, I can be the friend that's entertained without paying money. And so can you, so keep that in mind before you dish out the cash for this shit. But then you have the slow clap, which is also worth $5, and that's just stupid. Anytime I see someone slow clapping in-game, I'm gonna slow clap them in real life. That's a lot of money for a 5-second slow clap. So those are the two $5 legendary emotes. The rest of them come out to about $2 each, and that still seems pretty overpriced because those ones aren't even that funny or interesting. It's just going to be shit people spam at each other while they're waiting for the last guy to finish the platforming part of the raid, right? They just seem pointless. I think if they took 9 of those things and stuck them in a $5 pack, that would be acceptable, but the total cost of all these things comes out to $40, right? So, I mean, you know, you be the judge. Are all of these emotes equivalent to the amount of content in the Taken King? You know, actually they might be, but that's not because they're super valuable. That's because the Taken King wasn't worth shit. Now, granted, most people won't buy all of them, but I know a lot of people will buy some of them. Because Bungie Vision has designed a clever little incentive system with this silver currency bullshit. The first question you gotta ask is, why even have the silver in-game currency, right? It's not like you can obtain it in any way besides paying real life money for it, and you can't use it on anything besides the emotes. So why not just have people pay real life money for the emotes? Why do we have this awkward middleman currency? Why not just cut out the middleman? If it's just paying real life for the emotes, why are we doing this thing where we pay real life for silver, which we pay for the emotes? I think it's to help nudge people towards coughing up more money. And it's not super sinister or shady. You know, I'd compare it to something similar to like how every product you ever see is always, you know, $59.99 instead of $60, right? Because taking off that 1 cent boosts sales, because for whatever reason, human beings see it as significantly cheaper just because there's a 5 at the front of the number as opposed to a 6, even though in reality it's only 1 cent cheaper, and after taxes there's going to be a fat 6 in the front of it anyways. Humans are gullible as fuck, and it's just gently nudging consumer psychology, and I'm sure that nudge would have higher success rates among younger audiences and such, like you find on games like Destiny. And so it's kind of like that, what I'm going to be talking about. It's just a gentle nudge. So what I think they're doing, what I suspect, is that the silver currency serves a few goals. First of all, because you have to buy the silver in batches of 500, you end up spending more money than you otherwise would. For instance, you know, they give you 400 free silver, which leaves you 100 short of the enthusiastic Carlton dance, which is the emote that you know everyone's going to want the most. Now, if I could, I'd just spend $1 on 100 silver so I could afford that dance. That's what I and many others would do, right? But that's not an option because they don't want me only spending $1. They want me spending $5. There's not an option there to spend only the amount of money you want to spend. You have to either go all or nothing, right? And I guarantee you that because they are only 100 away from the Carlton dance, a lot of people are going to be like, ah, fuck it, I might as well just buy some silver to get it because I'm already so close. Even though that's totally irrational, because when you have to buy it in packs of 500, you'd still be paying $5, you know, even if you hadn't gotten any free silver. So you're not really close. It makes no sense, but then, you know, neither does thinking that something is cheaper just because they dropped the price by 1 cent to change the front number. It's just these subtle little attempts on preying on humans' frail psychology. So that's the main reason I actually think they give you the first 400 for free. But part of it might also be sort of about blunting people's rage, right? You can tell with how they handled the announcement of these microtransactions that they were worried about a consumer backlash. And maybe they're betting people will be a little less angry about these emotes being stuck behind a paywall if they get some of those emotes for free. But I doubt that by itself would be enough reason to give up the profits on all those free emotes. I think part of it had to have been about making people feel like they were close to the Carlton dance. And then the other way I suspect this will nudge some players to cough up more dough is by leaving a little bit of money left over from each purchase, a little bit of silver, right? It's almost like a little money wasted from each purchase. It wouldn't be a problem, again, if you could just pay $2 for the 200 silver emote, right? But because the vast majority of the emotes are 200 silver apiece, and you can only buy a pack of 500, well, 200 doesn't fit evenly into 500, right? So then you're going to end up with 100 silver left over, right? Because you buy 2 emotes for 200 each, then you have 400 from 500, you have 100 silver left over. And that 100 silver by itself isn't enough to buy anything, so then you kind of feel like, well, that's some money wasted if I don't follow through and buy some more silver to use it all up. So if you buy a pack of 500, you have a little bit left over. And then your next two options are you have a 1,000 silver pack and a 2,000 silver pack. Now, 200 breaks evenly into both those numbers. So what do? They give you a bonus amount of silver for those purchases. So if you buy the 1,000 silver pack, they give you a bonus 100 silver. But 500 and 200, whatever emotes you're buying, that all goes evenly into 1,000. And so that extra 100 silver bonus most likely just ends up being an extra 100 silver left over that you can't actually do anything with. Now, when you go up to the 2,000 silver pack, you'd expect them to just go to a bonus 200 silver, but no, they go to a bonus 300 silver. Why? Because 200 and 500 doesn't break evenly into 2,300. If it was 2,200, then you'd end up with 0 silver, but at 2,300, you still have your 100 silver left over. I really think they have structured this thing so that a lot of people end up with 100 extra silver lying around. 100 silver, which by itself has no value, which subtly encourages the player to give it value by buying just a little bit more, right? And when it's minor little payments like this, $5, people impulse buy. People buy because why the fuck not, right? And so they don't need that much of a push to just say, hey, I better buy another pack of 500 silver so I can round out this 100 silver to 600, buy 3 emotes and be done with it, because that's the smartest way to go about getting the most value out of the purchases. And if I don't do something with this 100 silver, it's like I wasted $1, right? Now, is that going to happen all the time? No. If people plan ahead, and for those of you who do end up buying this shit, I recommend you do plan your purchases out before you start dropping dough. But if you plan ahead, you can work it out so you don't end up with the extra 100 silver, for instance. If you get the 1,000 silver pack with the extra 100 bonus, you can buy a 500 silver emote and 3 200 silver emotes, and then you don't have the extra 100. But more often than not, I bet you people end up with that extra 100 lying around, especially kids not thinking about the shit beforehand. It increases the rate of some people spending more money than they otherwise would some of the time. And it's not a huge deal, and I know that seems a little conspiratorial and a little crazy. Maybe I am looking too much into it, but really, why is the silver there? Why have the currency? Why can't I just buy silver in precise amounts that I want? If I'm 100 short of something, why can't I just buy 100 silver at a time? I believe strongly that the silver system is designed to make these microtransactions more profitable than they otherwise would be by subtly nudging people to spend a little bit more than they otherwise would if the silver wasn't there and you just paid $2 straight up for each emote, or $5 for the legendary ones. And I know that seems like almost too silly to be true, but again, it just goes back to the whole, if you lower the price of something by 1 cent, a bunch of more people are going to buy it. I mean, it's not the same mechanism, but it's the same level of trivial silliness. You know what I mean? And what's also clever about this system is they have the whole legendary thing, right? Where 2 of the emotes are purple, they're legendary. And if you've been playing Destiny long enough, you're probably instinctively going to assign extra value to the emote just because it's purple, right? But it's not like it's actually more rare. It's not a rare drop from a boss or something. It's not something you have to work long and hard to buy from a vendor, and it's rare, because it takes so much to get it. It's right there in the store for everyone who wants it if they're willing to dish out the cash. So it's not actually more rare. It's just as available to everyone. It's easily available to every single player. It's not actually more rare than the blues, and it's not as if it's, objectively better. I mean, the quality of the emotes themselves are subjective, right? I mean, I'm sure everyone agrees the Carlton dance is the best, but I personally think that the one where the guy falls on his knees in epic despair, I think that's a lot cooler than the slow clap. In fact, I think a lot of them are a lot cooler than the slow clap. I would have made the slow clap a blue. But now that they have you trained to equate purple with higher value, you're that much more likely to be willing to dish out the extra money for the purple, because you think it has higher value just because they made it purple, even though it really doesn't. And it's not like it costs more money or took double the time on the developer's part to build the purple emotes as opposed to the blue ones. They were just like, let's put purple on 2 of them, and people will spend extra money on them because they're purple, right? And we'll only make 2 of them in a series of like 20. And then obviously the bonus silver at the 1,000 and 2,000 increments incentivizes buying the higher packages, because technically you're getting more silver per, dollar spent. You're getting more value for your money, and that's not super schemy. Obviously we see that with a lot of business plans and products, but honestly, like, who the fuck needs that many emotes? Like, who really is gonna buy the 1,000 and 2,000 packs? I mean, I know people are gonna buy them, but like, why? You can only have 4 equipped at a time, which means that if you buy more than that, they're just going to end up sitting in your inventory gathering dust until Destiny 2 comes out. Or if more emotes come out, any more than 4 is just a huge waste of money. Honestly, because I just know the vast majority of people aren't going to be switching in new emotes to their D-pad for each new day or whatever, right? They're going to have their 4 emotes that they bought. Those are going to be the 4 that they use regularly. And if they bought any more than that, that's just money wasted. I know there are dumbasses out there that are going to drop $40 on every single emote, and they aren't even going to use most of them more than once, if that, and it's just like throwing money in the trash, a lot of money that could be used on a really cool game, which like 5 of are coming out in the next week or 2. Now again, the other thing that really struck out to me with how Bungie announced this was how obviously afraid they were of a public backlash, right? They made sure to emphasize in the announcement that the profits from this were just to help pay for free shit in the future, free content for everyone in the future, and they also heavily emphasized that there would never ever be anything sold through silver that would actually affect gameplay. Now it's worth mentioning, in the return screen at the store we see this little disclaimer about how consumable items are not returnable, and this is an indication that in the future they intend to sell other kinds of stuff obviously for silver, and some of that stuff will be consumable, so who knows what that could be. However, I wouldn't be surprised if it ended up being XP boost. You buy your soda, you get a little code on the back of it, that's $2. Seems like it wouldn't be too absurd to imagine them just doing that without the soda, right? The example that they gave in the announcement was that there will never be a part in the raid where you can't get through it because you don't have the right emote, right? That's what they meant by it won't affect the gameplay. But I don't know if that sentiment applies to someone having XP boosts, right? Because, like, does it technically affect other players if newer players are buying their way to level 290 light or whatever? I'm sure it annoys those other players. I don't know. It is a slippery slope. We got to stay vigilant. We'll see how that goes. Now, if it's true that the rest of Destiny's content, and specifically the next 2 $15 regular sized DLC packs that we know are coming, we saw them leaked in the Comet image way back in the day, if all that shit is free, then I won't complain about the microtransactions being the catalyst that pays for that shit, because it's like I don't have to buy them, and I'm not buying any of them, so it's like other people are crowdfunding free content for me, which I'm not going to complain about. But I don't know for sure that the next 2 DLC packs are actually going to be free. A lot of people keep saying that, probably because Kotaku reported on an apparent leak from some anonymous person in Bungie who said that's how it would be, but Kotaku isn't exactly known for accuracy, and reading the actual announcement from Bungie, I definitely didn't get the impression that actual future DLC shit was going to be free. They didn't talk about funding their development staff, they didn't talk about future DLC being free, they talked about funding the live team, which puts on events, Iron Banner, Queen's Wrath, maybe holiday events or something. I feel like if that were true, Bungie would have come out and said that, because what better way to keep people from getting mad than to announce that all future DLC is free? But they didn't say that, and it would be very easy for any Bungie employee to just leak some bullshit to Kotaku to get this false impression out there on the internet. We'll see how that plays out. If the DLC is free, I don't think I'll be able to give them much shit for it. If it's not free, then the live events or whatever other little missions or shit they have come out, whatever content that is being funded, better actually be really, really cool. If it's just some Queen's Wrath shit where it's not even new content and the rewards themselves are pointless bullshit, that's going to be upsetting, because then it would just be like Bungie's pocketing the profit off the microtransactions, but coming up with like a clever lie so nobody gets mad about being locked out of content by more paywalls on a game they've already dropped over $100 on. The For the Win query of the day is, would you rather have the microtransactions mean the next 2 DLC packs ended up being free for everyone, or would you prefer that you buy the packs the old-fashioned way and have the emotes included in those packs? Please remember to rate. This is Batman, signing out.